views expressed on this episode of the Came to Believe Recovery podcast do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Recovery Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this episode should not be taken as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guests. KHLT and Take 12 Recovery Radio are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship. Well, greetings, my friends. I am the Monty Man from Take 12 Recovery Radio, and this is the Came to Believe Recovery Podcast. And now, here are your Came to Believe Recovery podcasting broadcasters to launch us forth on this week's show. Well, greetings, one and all. I'm laughing because we've had so many issues in the studio this week. You gotta laugh, right? Otherwise, you'll just throw something. I'm the Monty Man, recovered alcoholic, volunteer here at Came to Believe Recovery, and you're one of your hosts, your co-host here on this episode of the Came to Believe Recovery podcast. On the phone with me, not on video this time, but on the phone because of technical difficulties, which we hope get straightened out before next week, is Mr. Tom Williams, the CEO of Came to Believe Recovery. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. How are you? Yeah, that can't stop us. Tech stuff can't stop us.
That's
Monty.
right. That's right. We always have a, in this case, we do have a plan B. In most cases, though, if you have a plan B, well, you probably should.
Right. I love that. Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to have plan C, too.
Yeah, sometimes. Okay. Sound clip time.
Okay, so.
Yes.
I'm taking context from last week and just assuming, but because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to say, because I joked about it, and I'm pretty sure it probably is that was Quincy.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Yep, you are right. That was Quincy.
See, that's good.
Yes, yes. See, you know what? Doing these oldies makes me want to go back and watch some of them.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I was just thinking about that. But Quincy, I remember watching it, and more so today. He was a medical examiner.
Right.
And he would go out and solve crimes. And in the real world, medical examiners don't do that. They send the detectives out to do that.
Right.
You know, that he would actually go do investigating, and he would do stuff rendered to the police. It was a little fantastical, I think. But I loved it. Jack Klugman was great. He always got his man.
Yeah. Yes, he did. Now we have shows like Elsbeth. Have you seen Elsbeth?
No.
She's very eccentric. She wears wild clothes. She carries like 6 handbags, oversized handbags, and she's a technical advisor for the police department, and it's actually pretty. She's kind of like a female cross between Columbo and what's the guy that had all the foibles and all the weird stuff? Can't think of his name now. He was in San Francisco, and he was OCD and everything. I can't remember. Monk, yes. It's like a cross between Columbo and Monk. Put them together in a female body, and you've got Elsbeth. So, pretty good show. Okay, I gotta do this for you, man, because I know that you're taking charge of trying to stump the Monty Man this week. So in honor of that, I have something for you. Ready? Here we go.
Oh my.
Everybody, it's time to check out what kind of crazy game Tom Williams has for us this week. Will it be trivia, true or false, or something weird? Let's play.
What do you think, Tom?
I don't like it.
Yeah.
If I never heard that again, it'd be too soon.
Okay. What you got?
Well, they just got harder because I had A and I had B.
Oh boy.
All right. So I'm going to start with, and these are just general trivia now because you do that to me.
Okay.
It's not always recovery based. That
Right.
dumb thing that I paid for a week last week with Captain Tanya, who had to tell everybody that she knew the answer and I didn't. And we had to tell those 4 scenarios 15 times at the ARC in San Diego. And
Right.
of course, the answer was always that she got it and I didn't. These are my classic trivia questions that I will ask people. So,
Okay.
what event started World War II?
Oh Lord, I am not good at war trivia at all. What event started World War II?
I'll make it easier. What event brought the United States into World War II?
Well, the relationship between the 2 other countries.
That's what brought us into World War II?
I don't know. Tacos. Somebody said tacos and somebody else didn't want Taco Tuesday and they got ticked off and they started a war. I'm at a loss with this.
Well, right now, I'm embarrassed for you that you don't know this because you are going to be like, gosh.
I'm just
when I
drawing
tell
a
you.
blank. I'm just drawing a blank.
It is about the most obvious thing. I'm going to give up trivia because if you don't get this, Pearl Harbor.
Oh my gosh.
See? The attack on Pearl Harbor. Oh my.
Oh, my
That
boy.
was a
That is the most-
I lobbed a blooper at you.
There is no excuse for me not getting that.
Oh, I can't even. I just don't even.
Oh my
All right.
word.
So we'll go to the other end of the spectrum. All right.
All right.
What ended World War II?
Hiroshima.
There you go. And Nagasaki. The
Yeah.
atomic bomb.
There we go.
explosion.
Yeah. Well, if I didn't get that, I need to totally give up my microphone.
All right. All right. I got 2 more.
Yeah.
This one is this is hard, especially after your answers already.
Oh no.
But there were 2 there were 2 sides in World War II, the Allies and the Axis powers, right? The Allies and the Axis. Who were the Axis powers?
So what do you mean by that? Explain what you mean by Axis powers.
Well, the Axis powers were our enemies.
That's what I thought.
The countries that were against us.
Right. So it was Japan, obviously. And oh my gosh, but we had more than one enemy back in World War II.
Yeah, the prime one you didn't even get.
Well, Japan
Well, they were one of them, yeah.
and Germany,
Germany, yeah, and one more.
Russia.
No, Russia was an ally.
Oh, Russia was an ally back then?
It was an ally. They were an ally.
Okay, so it was Germany and Japan.
Don't Google it.
It wasn't. No, I won't. I can't because you're on the phone. I can't even pick my phone up. North Vietnamese?
Italy.
No.
Benito Mussolini. Yes,
Okay. See, I don't consider. When I think of Mussolini, it's hard for me to look at Italy as an enemy.
Yeah, they were. And technically, the beginning of World War II was Germany's invasion of Poland. But that was, I had to make it a little easier that I thought I'd just a giveaway to say what brought us into World War II.
Yeah.
Not so much, folks. with Monty, who did not pass the citizenship.
Oh
test
boy,
for the United
Pearl
States.
Harbor.
Okay.
I mean, you can't if you don't get Pearl Harbor right, you need to go back to school. Oh, I'm so
do.
embarrassed.
You should be. And let's go deeper. Who attacked us at Pearl Harbor?
Who? What?
Who attacked us? What happened at Pearl Harbor? Oh, come on.
Well, the Japanese attacked.
All right. There you
Yeah,
go.
Tora. The command to attack. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Gosh, I got some, but I'm not going to go any deeper. All right,
Well,
here's my
that's
last
just
one.
stupid.
Okay, here's my last one. Okay. And I've been asking all of the team, the staff at Came to Believe Recovery, who are being tasked behind the scenes, Monty, with upping their subject area expertise in the history of Came to Believe Recovery, in the history of the Ackland Cleveland group and what we do, right? I have everybody really studying this because I want them to be able to speak, intelligently and with confidence when we're out in the public and being questioned about what we do and why we do it. So here's my question.
All right.
And so far, nobody I asked got it right.
Okay.
The pressure's on. I'm confident
All right.
you're going to get this.
Here we go.
All right. Dr. Bob was a doctor.
Yes.
What type of doctor was he?
He was a proctologist.
Ding, ding, ding. I don't have the bell. Ding, ding. You got it.
Yay!
There we go.
Which
All
always,
right.
which always cracked me up because I'm thinking, I mean, any kind of doctor under the influence is not good, but particularly a proctologist. I mean,
There's stories and everybody that is, if you're listening, if you read Dr. Bob and the Good Old Timers, which we highly recommend as a historical documentation of what went happening, and it's generally considered extremely accurate, right?
Yeah.
There's stories of him waking up shaking so much he took drinks and lithium so he could go operate.
Yes, you bet.
I mean, it's what
You
they
bet.
did back then.
Yes.
They didn't think that much about it. Like
No.
Mad Men. You watch that show and they're drinking all day long at work. I mean, that went on back then.
Yes. Yes.
We wouldn't consider it today. But yeah, and that would scare you. Dr. Bob was under the influence operating on people.
Let me tell you. So I had a guy named Dr. John. He was from the Portland area. He is a brain surgeon, and I had him on. He was a recovered alcoholic. I had him on the show years ago, and I said, "What percentage of medical professionals that are behind a scalpel would you say are under the influence of some kind of mind-altering chemical while they're operating?" And he said, easily 80% or higher. I almost fell off my chair.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that's one of those too good, too bad.
I don't know. It was Portland.
I can't believe 80%. And I'd hate to think that there was an 80% chance my surgeon was. But I mean, it could have been that they're on some sort of
it's a broad mind altering. It could be time
or something to make them really, some kind of pill to make them really paying attention and wide awake,
right?
Which might not be a bad thing.
It may not.
We don't want them to be on anything, but I'd rather have them something keeping them really focused than something not, right?
Right.
I don't know. Well,
Absolutely.
Well, I know this from speaking with some. I'm not going to name the group that we were speaking with, but a medical group, large, and the insiders felt that within the hospital and medical world, it can be as much as 25% are struggling with substance use disorder of some sort, whether they're doing it at work or not. But 25%, which is higher than what they say the general public. It should scare you. But they have access to the drugs.
Yeah.
And they work long hours, and they work overnights, and it's stressful. And, yeah, it lends to it.
The California High Patrol reported, and this was back in the early 2000s, like 2001 or 2, that between the hours of 3 p.m. And 3 a.m., on Friday and Saturday that 1 out of every 3 drivers was under the influence of a mind-altering substance on the Golden Gate Bridge. And the reason for that is because there were so many people that commuted into San Francisco, right, from outside of San Francisco, like Sausalito and San Rafael and Novato and even Petaluma and Santa Rosa. And a lot of people stayed. They had apartments in San Francisco, but a lot of people drove home. But they went to the bars and went to the parties and did all that kind of stuff. So I mean, if you're driving across the Golden Gate Bridge between 3 p.m. and 3 a.m., yeah, you might not want to do that. I don't. I'm like,
I believe that actually. That's high, but I believe it. I think it gets higher later than 3, but I would have thought if they were going to say after 11 or after 10 till 3 in the morning, something like that.
Well, you have a lot of different shifts though, and it's the weekend, you know, so you have swing shifts and all that kind of.
I'm glad to say this: when you're out on the highway here after 10 or 11 on a Friday night, the chances that a very high percentage of people on the road with you are under the influence on a Friday or Saturday night is a really, I feel like at midnight, the police could pull anybody over and they got a good shot at getting somebody.
Especially now with the legalization of cannabis. It doesn't mean it's legal.
Yeah, but you're still not allowed to be under the influence of it and drive.
No, but what cracked me up is when everybody said, oh, it'll be illegal to drive under it, so people won't be driving. And I'm like, yeah, they will. They've been driving drunk for years. They're going to drive stoned.
Right. Of course they're going to drive stoned.
Don't kid yourself.
That's the most ridiculous thing.
Oh, man. All right, you got any more? You got any more for me?
No, that's
it.
Today. That's it.
Okay, well, good job.
You failed, though.
I know. I'm gonna have to. Hold on. I'm gonna have to give myself the fluff.
Yeah. All right, but I do like the trivia, so I think this should be a segment. You could do it next week. I'll let you take a shot at me.
We'll do it every other week.
That was a little unfair, the subject. Maybe we pick subject matter so that we, don't come with something out of the left field. But I'm all right with whatever you pick up for next week, if you want.
So this is the way I had to say to all that right here.
I'm calling your sponsor.
I'm going to call your sponsor.
All right.
Okay, let's close this part out, and we'll get right to the topic. Let's see here. All right, the topic this week is turning good things into idols. Are you there?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm just relving in the Led Zeppelin you played.
I knew you would like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, turning good things into idols. Okay, so I'm going to read this as there's 3 talking points here, but I'm going to read it as one paragraph, and then we got a lot of territory to cover here. Idolatry isn't just ancient statues or pagan rituals. It's anything we elevate above its proper place, especially things that are inherently good. An idol is any created thing or pursuit that we trust for ultimate security, identity, meaning, or satisfaction rather than God. Now, here's a great quote. Good things become bad things when they become ultimate things.
I love that. I've heard another quote around this subject about idols, something like that. Good things are bad when there's another quote, and I can't find it now, but I'll find it maybe for next week.
Okay.
But that is true. It's so true.
So we think of idols as, the golden calf that was created in Cecil B. DeMille's version of the Ten Commandments. Oh, that's the idol. That's an idol. Or the tiki doll that somebody wears around their neck, or the crystal that somebody sticks under their bed, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, the totem pole of the Indians and Hawaiians and all.
Right. And though that may be true to some degree, I think we got a deeper problem than that, don't you?
Well, when you look at that definition of it, understanding it in the modern context and understanding it in what its effect is on your life, what constitutes an idol to you, it does take on a bigger meaning. And yeah, we got a problem. Maybe.
Yeah.
So I get on where we want to start, because I have such deep thoughts on this, and I mean, I have an awareness and an understanding. Scratched the surface a little just because I've read a little bit about it and thought about it and prayed about it. So I have.
Yeah.
But that just means I know a little bit, and I'm not perfect at it, of course. That the common idols in our lives in my case, Monty, are not these statues or things. That is not what mine are. Mine are things like success in career, health and appearance, and maybe ministry and entertainment. The idea that comfort and entertainment, stuff, and how much value I put on it in the category of making me happy and making me secure, and the thing that's going to fulfill my life. If there were idols, it's in those categories that I would be susceptible to that.
So success in career, health and appearance, and ministry and entertainment and comfort.
Yeah. So success in career is money, right? Having it basically, and
or power,
and power.
Yeah.
But money, it comes down to money in the end, because you can give me all the power that you want, and if there's no money, money is synonymous with power.
Sure.
I think.
Sure.
Because it is. It does give you power here on earth. And what did I say? Relationships and family. Yes. You can idolize a love interest and compromise everything in order to keep that happy.
Yes. So I'm gonna. Some listeners may know what I'm talking about. Have you heard of the television show, the reality show Big Brother?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. So Marcia and I watch it religiously every year, every season. And one of the things I noticed right off the bat is some of the people that end up getting evicted from the house and falling off the game are ones that start getting these showmances going, right? They get distracted. They go in there with all the intent. I'm going to focus on strategy. And then they see the beautiful blonde and they're like, oh, I kind of like her, and it ruins everything. They end up get a target on their back. The other house guests want them gone. Their strategies start to wane. I mean, they don't do well because they're all wrapped up in this romantic thing. So what I take out of that is we get anything that distracts us away from the focus that we're trying to keep our eye on. And in our case, Tom, I think you would agree, our eye should be on the prize. And what's the prize? Our relationship with God. So anything that distracts us from that and interferes with that is a form of an idol, I think.
Right. Anything, like good things, like this says, become bad things when they become ultimate things. So there's good things in themselves, things that we have and things that we have physical are not bad in themselves. They are bad when they become the ultimate thing, when they matter more than, if they are aiding in our relationship with God, if they're in support of it, if they're giving us the ability to walk with him and be kingdom builders in a better way, then it's all good.
Yeah.
But as soon as it takes over, and I want to go back because you touched a note with relationships, and I'm going to be honest with you here, and I think a lot of people do this, so I'm going to be honest with you, that I've had several love interests and even a wife that I'm ashamed to admit it, but that I tamped down some of my core beliefs and some things I really cared about to please them, to keep them happy. Because it was, the woman and the allure and this desire and this, I've elevated the physical part of this relationship as so important, and I need it so much, and it's so ultimate that I'm willing to push down some of my principles. And I've done it, I'm being honest. And it has been disaster every time.
Wow. So while you were sharing that, I was reflecting on couples that become unequally yoked when it comes to their faith. Maybe one spouse doesn't believe in God and the other one has a strong faith in God, or the one spouse believes in a whole nother faith system. Maybe one's Muslim and one's Christian. There seems to be compromise that takes place. I've known several couples where the wife has been an avid churchgoer all her life, and she's just very committed to it. But dad doesn't want to go to church, so she stops going. And it affects the family dynamic in a negative way, the way they raise the kids, or when people become unequally yoked as far as like financial disciplines go. Every time one gets a promotion, he's out buying stuff he doesn't need, and the little woman is very frustrated. And I mean, yeah, so we put all of our eggs in one basket when it comes to another person, and we start compromising what we know is right, good, and healthy for us, and we give it up for them, and they don't even really care.
Right.
It's like, I don't care. You go to church, honey. I don't care. No, it's okay. I'll stay home with you.
All right. And some of you might be out there saying, because I'm thinking, what does this have to do with addiction and recovery? Well, it has everything to do with it, right?
Sure.
Because when we're living in the Go, the program of the founders and the 12 steps, the idea of step 4 was to identify these core natures and defects that lead to idolatry, impatience, and there's things that lead to me elevating someone else above where they are, compromising my values. It's a core set of natures. And then you begin to be an idolater. And then when you're all stressed and it isn't working for you, we before we recover, where do we go? Right to the bottle, right?
Yeah.
So this is a very relevant conversation for recovery, and for someone and if you're in recovery or trying to be in recovery, and you're thinking, what does this have to do with anything? I need to go to a meeting. Well, your meeting should be talking about this.
Yeah.
Right? And if it's not, you should think about it. I'm off on a little soapbox here, but this is important, I think, that we talk about this stuff, guys, because this is what living in the Go is about, is to look at these things, and we tackle these things. And so today, Monty, I wouldn't compromise like that anymore.
Right.
I wouldn't. I want to be yoked. As a matter of fact, I had an opportunity just recently, and I turned down something because it was going to require me to do that. And I knew if I didn't, it would be disastrous. So I just stayed out of it.
Yeah.
So we grow.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so the two that I would identify with the most, ministry and service, and comfort and entertainment. So even spiritual activities, church involvement, helping others, theology can become idols if they feed pride or self-righteousness. So one of the reasons on Monday's show, one of the reasons that pretty much a couple times a month, I'll do the Monty Man's Weekly Wine, and I do it tongue in cheek because it helps me to not get all puffed up. I'm able to go, well, I am right all the time. When I say that, nothing could be further from the truth. But I have to kind of joke about it and kind of get it out so it doesn't become what I think is true. And so everybody has different ways of doing that. But the whole idea that we need something to find purpose in life. If ministry, which is good, if you're in it because you're trying to find purpose to elevate yourself, you're in it for the wrong reasons. And it's easy to let that happen without even realizing it. I think about what I call platform people that are up front. They're not behind the scenes doing most of the work. They're up front and they look like they're doing most of the work. We need them, but they have to be very careful. The Bible talks about people that teach. They need to be careful with their personal lives because they're held to a higher standard. Comfort and entertainment. I've come to the point I'm 70 years old and I can really get stuck in this rut of, well, you know what? I've raised my kids. I've been in ministry more in my life than I was ever actively drinking. It's time to be able to treat myself a little bit and just relax. And that's dangerous, I think, Tom.
Well, that's one of those good things that can be an ultimate thing if it goes bad.
Yes.
I mean,
my mother-in-law said one time, she goes, she did all sorts of ministry work for the Open Bible Church in the Bible Belt. And her and her husband were retired pastors. They worked very, very hard for the ministry. And she would often comment, it's our turn now. I'm too old to be doing these things. And then I'm thinking about Father Abraham. How old was he when he had all those grandkids, right? And he kept plugging away.
I heard that it's our turn now from my parents. It's our turn.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is a good one on ministry, Monty. And I'm going to come back to it because I was going to sit on that one for a minute, and also the comfort and entertainment. But I'm going to go back to success and talk about it with you and see what you think about this thing that I hear sometimes in the prosperity gospel world, where people will be really successful in their jobs and making a lot of money, and they say, see, God is blessing me. I must be in God's will because he's blessing me with riches and things and success. So I must be in God's will. And they go deeper and deeper into it. And I think it's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not any biblical backing to that I think is legit. And you can put some things together and, come out and say it. But I always say this, that Jesus never said to the apostles, go get the best job you can get and get a 401k and get your retirement set and then go help everybody. Like, he never instructed people on how to be entrepreneurs and how to make a lot of money and how to have things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, then we could take the opposite, the ascetics, whatever, are those that deny themselves everything. And I can't have anything. I can't buy too much. This leads to this comfort and entertainment, right? It can get to this.
It can go both ways.
It can go both ways, and it's a check of the heart and the spirit. And you know what it comes down to, Monty? I think is our conscious contact. How close are we? How is our contact with God? Your personal relationship. How often are you communicating with him? How well do you understand his will for you, and are you in it? The closer we are to that, the less we are, I'm going to say I am, to being susceptible to being in idols. There's no other answer for me. I'm only speak for myself. Is that I need to stay way, way, way connected. And if I do, I'm in less chances of going off the rail. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, I'll tell you. So I'm going to bounce back to the prosperity thing. I think it's a very dangerous thing to base your entire theology on one scripture verse, and that's what that's what the prosperity gospel kind of does. And you go back to Jeremiah, where it says, my plans for you are not to harm you, but to prosper you.
Right.
And take that out of context, and well, that must mean that if I love God enough, if I just have enough faith, if I can muster enough worship, God will prosper me in ways beyond my wildest dreams. And the problem with that is there's some truth in it. But what do we mean by prosper? For some, it may be financial. For others, it may be many grandchildren. For others, it may be they become very much of a giving person in their poverty. I know people that have literally, they're just this side of being homeless, and they give every penny they have to other people that are hurting. And so we've got to be careful we don't take scriptures out of context. But yeah, it becomes an idol. And here's what happens. It's like we think because we don't, if you're a prosperity person, if you don't receive that something's wrong with you. You haven't prayed long enough. You haven't prayed hard enough. You don't love God enough. It's the same mentality that says if you're an alcoholic and you've been sober for 5 years and you relapse, it's because you don't love Jesus enough. BS. That's a bunch of baloney.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's kind of where that stuff comes from. So I agree. And then we can go too far the other way, where we become Gnostics, right? I knew a guy in Bible college who was trying to quit smoking, and every time he smoked a cigarette, he went down to the football field and ate dirt. And so I got to eat dirt before God. I got to humble myself before God. And I'm like, what? And so we think we don't deserve anything. Well, you're right, you don't. But God wants to give you so much. And it may not be material. Sometimes it is, but yeah, so there's that both sides of the fence, and they're both worshiping an idol. One's the worship of self, and one's the worship of sacrifice.
And the other scripture they use that I've heard is the one on tithing, where it says, see, test me on this. And see that I won't bless you 10 times, overflowing, and, bring in your tithes. And then I've gone to churches in my past where the guy said, you want $1 million? You want $100,000? Give us 10,000. The Lord times 10, that whole times 10 teaching.
Yeah.
And it doesn't say money. It says you're going to be blessed.
Right.
And the blessings could be health, and could be good kids, and it could be a great job or peace. It could be, and it could be some money, but it's not necessarily money. And it's dangerous teaching, Monty, and people fall into it. It's not as big as it was, I don't think, 20 or 30 years ago, but I think it still has some legs in the Christian world around the country.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to ministry for a minute. And this could be for you and me, maybe even, and for me is, I'm traveling all the time, and I'm going to do God's work, and we're going to help the lost and broken, right?
Yeah.
At any cost. And even Jesus didn't go help everybody at any cost. Remember when the apostle said at one point, there's so many people for you to help. Why aren't you helping everybody?
Yeah.
And he went and rested, and he did some things that baffled them. He had a balance.
Yeah.
But if and I'm asking you to talk about this, because it could be a real quandary. Hey, I'm off saving lives or helping present this program that saves lives. And if my family is being neglected, hey, you need to understand it's more important to do God's work than to be here with you and family. And I didn't pay the electric bill. Well, the electric company's going to have to understand. I had to go do God's work. And this kind of thing you can hear. And that can be a dangerous path to go down.
You know what? It comes back down to pride again, pride and ego.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
You know, we may not think it that way. We might. It's a false humility, Tom. I think. You know, I hear you. So I knew a gal. We've talked about this before. I knew a gal. She was the wife of my boss when I worked at that one particular faith-based residential treatment program, which name I will not mention. She said to the staff, she said, we were making plans for Christmas, who was going to take Christmas off, who was going to run the Christmas tree lots, blah, blah, blah. And there was some staff members that had really been working their tails off and they needed a break. And we brought that up. And this is what she said. She said, the devil doesn't take a vacation. Neither do we.
Oh,
and I thought you're in a position of leadership in a service-based ministry, and this is your philosophy. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. Jesus himself knew of his human condition, because remember, he was fully God and fully man. He knew of his human condition. He had to rest. He would go in the boat off by himself. He would spend alone time with his heavenly Father, because that was absolutely essential for his human self. He had to do that. He recognized that. When did we stop recognizing that? You know what I mean? When did we start putting good deeds? You know, I have a saying I like to say, if the devil can't get you to sin, he'll get you to get too busy doing God's work. You know?
That's a good. And I mean, that there's some, you know, there's a context where I've heard that, you know, the devil doesn't take a break, where it might be okay if you're talking about where you let down on your connection with God.
Sure.
You know, if you're going to lay down, be careful, because that makes you slip. I guess.
Yeah.
But that's manipulative and dangerous to say it in the context, because especially as a leader of people, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can touch on health and appearance too, very much so. Exercise and weight loss and looking the right way. How many people? This is, you know, it's not as big for me as people might think. Well, you go to the gym every day. You're an exercise addict. I say, well, no, I just like it. I use the free time that I have. I can choose to do several things. And it's not out of order. I go to work, I do my work, my family, I eat, I pay my bills. But I enjoy going to the gym. Well, you're addicted to what you look like. I really don't care that much. I love being healthy, and I love the stress relief I get from exercise. And it's just something I enjoy doing. But there are those that do it to extreme because it's where their worth comes from, Monty.
Yes.
They're no good. They're worthless. Nobody will love them. They're a failure if they don't look a certain way or have a certain strength. It is prevalent.
Very much so. Very much so. I'm watching my youngest boy and his wife getting ready for a thing called High Rocks, I think it's called. It happens in Vegas. I think there's another one in San Francisco maybe. And they're doing their workouts, but they're doing it to get healthy because they put on a little weight, you know, and they want to get healthy for the future of their family, you know, for their kids, to teach their kids that it's a good thing to exercise and be healthy. And it's all for the right reasons, and it's really enjoyable to watch them. But I have other people that I know that are doing it, and it's like, and here's the thing about Colin and Emily. It doesn't interfere with the rest of their life. It doesn't take priority over their relationship with God. You know what I mean? I think when these things start shifting And instead of us being in charge over them, they become in charge over us. And there are people that will take exercise and diet and all that and make it the main thing. It's not the main thing. God's the main thing. Other people are the main thing. Our families are the main thing. And if you are, I may get in trouble for this, but if you are abandoning your post that God's called you to in some form of ministry or some form of helps to help other lead them to God, if you're abandoning that to look better, feel better, pump better, run better, do all that stuff, then I would suggest that you're living in disobedience and you're in a very dangerous area.
And I 100% agree. And, the opposite could be true. I've heard people who don't take care of themselves because they need to spend that time doing the Lord's work and or their work or wherever, and they don't take care of the temple that they have to even a normal level. So everything can go both ways.
It
right?
can. Absolutely, it can.
I want to get to some of these things down at the bottom of the talking points we have, because they're pretty good about signs that you've turned a good thing into an idol. So so somebody might say, so when do I really know, right?
Right.
You can say you're devastated or angry with God when it's threatened or taken away. You sacrifice your integrity, relationships, or time with God to protect or pursue it. We talked about that. We do that. We have a tendency to do that.
Yep.
Your thoughts and conversations constantly revolve around it. I don't know if, for me, that's so much about idle things. It dictates your emotions more than your faith does. You secretly believe if I only had then I'd be happy, content, and secure. Well, you've on a weak moment, you'll hear me say, could I just hit the lottery? And if that'll just do it, once I hit the lottery, I'll be good, which evidence says it's never what happens to people.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I wanted to say something about your thoughts and conversations constantly revolve around it. I have been around people within the recovery community. I want to shake them and say, can you please talk about something else other than sobriety? Can you please talk about something else other than 12 steps, other than meetings? I'm getting a little sick of my whole world is around that. I just want to sit in this boat and fish, man. You know what I mean? I've been around people. It's like I understand that it saved your life and everything, but you've been doing this now for 15 years and you don't talk about anything else. Has it become an idol? When is going to too many meetings too many meetings?
You're singing my tune, especially in that category. I talk about it all day long. And the last thing I want to do in the evening is talk about it more.
Yeah, I've even my kids called me out on it before. They'd be struggling in a certain area, and I would give them a suggestion that was not asked for. But because I'm dad, I assume the right to give it, right? And so I would suggest it. And I remember one of my kids said, Dad, don't psychobabble me. Please stop 12-stepping me. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking, but I'm right. This is good advice. This is good stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they need to do a step 10 and an 11. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, man. But there are people like that. It's like, can you please talk about nature or football or cars or even talk about girls, for crying out loud? I don't care, but stop talking about the 12 steps. I'm in it all day long. But I'm telling you, buddy, there are people, if they miss a meeting, right, they're devastated because it's become an idol.
It's become an idol. All right, let's do these 4. We're running out of time, but I want to go down here. The dangers of idol worship, right? So we should talk about that a little, right? Spiritual displacement. Idols promise what God what only God can deliver. That's it. That's that peace and serenity that we think stuff gives us. I think that's true, leading to emptiness, anxiety, and burnout, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't give it of us that, right? Remember, we think every time we think this is what's going to make us happy, it generally never does. Get the nice car, get the nice house, and what you have is a nice house, and you're just sitting there, and you're wondering why you don't feel better about it than you ought to, because you've made it an idol. It's been the thing. It's not just a nice house because you can have a nice house to live in, and it's part of your life, which might be okay. It's the reason why you're going to be happy. Then it becomes a problem. Distorted priorities, time, money, energy, and affections get poured into the idol, starving your relationship with God and others. Broken relationships, family, friendships, and communities suffer when one good thing becomes all-consuming. Moral compromise. People often justify sin, lying, neglecting responsibilities, ethical shortcuts to serve their idol. That one pokes a little. That's true. It does. We self-justification. Well, I can neglect my responsibilities because if you only knew, right?
Yeah, and we say it all the time. I've said it myself. Well, you know how us alcoholics are.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm just I don't know.
I'm just an addict.
I got it.
Yeah.
I'm an addict, emotional bondage, fear of loss, jealousy of others, and constant comparison become constant companions. I've kind of gotten off of, yeah.
That's emotional. That's emotional dependency instead of emotional sobriety. Yeah.
Judgment and consequences. Biblical pattern shows God eventually exposes and topples idols, sometimes painfully, to draw us back. When we do this today, Monty, as we're coming here to the end, this is so important. Maybe we ought to do another one of these things. There's really practical shows that we do, I think, and I hope people listening see that.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff, and it's poking, and we're having some fun and talking about things that we either did or do at some level now or we're tempted to do. But in general, the 12-step process that we went through, the relationship I have, working 10, 11, and 12, it has helped me steer away from all this.
Yes.
I don't live like this anymore, Monty.
Yes.
I really don't. I don't know about you, but I really just don't.
I think these things can crop up a little bit, but we recognize them now quick enough to where we can nip that in the bud. We go, oh, I recognize this. All right, I need to get on my knees. I recognize this. Oh, maybe I need to talk to somebody.
Right.
I recognize this. Oh, maybe that's an amends I need to make. We recognize it now, whereas before, it was such a big part of us, all these character defects and dysfunctions and idols, we didn't even see them coming. And they were swallowing us whole. And I'm with you. And we also surround ourselves with a bunch of people we've given permission to call us out. And that is what's that?
We have, right.
Yes.
We have.
Yes.
But then before, I surrounded myself with people that wouldn't call me out.
No, they'd co-sign your stuff, right?
Co-sign my stuff.
Yeah.
And, Monty, I think about something, and you knew this was coming up. You might have to take a look at this gnome thing you got going.
Oh, brother.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm going to get that noise. I don't know.
Well, you can't. You're not on the camera this week, but yeah, you may want to watch this later.
Oh my gosh! So yeah, I know what's coming on. Anyway, so this is a good one, but I there is a out to this. There is freedom from the bondage that these things and idol worship can do to you in your life, and how it holds you in bondage, and how it can just drain you. They're exhausting, but there can be freedom, folks. There is a way.
There is a way. There is a way. There is a way where there seems to be no way.
Right.
So I would say to anybody who's listening, that's like, I just, but. They're saying, but. There's even freedom from but. If you're willing to consider a new path, if you're at least willing to consider it, you would be surprised at how quickly your life can change. You would be surprised.
Yeah, amen.
But if you're not in process of change and you're stagnant and you think that there's no hope, I got good news for you. You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're dead wrong, and there is hope. Listen, our email here, listeners, is Monty, M-O-N-T-Y, at cametobelieverecovery.org. Please email us. You can send in your prayer requests. You can send in your comments, disagree, agree, have topics you want us to talk about. We'd be more than glad to hear from you. Closing thoughts, Tom.
We've done such a good, really, it's take a good look at yourself. What is it that you think you can't live without? What in your life do you think, if it was taken in the material or relationship world, the world of what you see and do, if it was taken from you, what do you think would ruin your life? And then take a real look at that, and hopefully make a change.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's doable.
It's doable. I mean, that's not great advice, but I think we discussed it. It is recognition, I think, and awareness. It's being really honest. Our program says you've got to be rigorously honest. You've got to concede to your innermost self that all these words that we got to quit lying to ourselves, because there's the point where you got to say, you know what, who am I kidding, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we got to get to that level of humility and honesty. And if you get there, in general, we can admit to certain things, and then that's where the freedom starts.
Amen. All right. So the closing song, this is interesting because I've really reached back in the time machine here. When you're able to give up idols, I think you're able to enjoy the good life much more. There's something to be said about sitting on the back porch, looking at the little birdies and enjoying the night sky or whatever, and just soaking in the good life. Not all this stuff, because idols, they demand a lot of us, folks. They will drain you to the core, right? And if you're not drained, you enjoy life so much more. So you don't want to let the good life pass you by. And that's the name of this song. Here's Tennessee Ernie Ford with the song Don't Let the Good Life Pass You By. And then I'll come back with my closing thoughts. Check it out.
Did you ever lie and listen to the rain fall? Did you ever own a homemade apple pie? Did you ever watch a child while he was praying? But just don't let the good life pass you by. Did you ever hold a hand to stop its trembling? Did you ever watch the sun desert the sky? Did you ever hold a woman while she's sleeping? Friend, don't let the good life pass you by. Man was made for loving, not for buying. Don't give him the things we really need. Just look, my friend, there's happiness in living. Somewhere between broke and being free. Did you ever see the funny side of losing? Did you ever sit right down and have a cry? Did you ever take the time to help your neighbor? Just don't let the good life pass you by. Man was made for loving, not for buying. Don't give him the things we really need. Just look, my friend, there's happiness in living. Somewhere between broke and being free. the funny side of losing? Did you ever sit right down and have a cry? Did you ever take the time to help your neighbor? Just don't let the good life pass you by. Don't let the good life pass you by. Friend, don't let the good life pass you by. 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 Don't let the good life pass you by.
Yes, though it is true, we dare not let the good things in life pass us by. We must realize that true joy lies in savoring these good things with open hands and grateful hearts, fully present, yet unattached, allowing the good things in life to enrich us rather than define us, so that we can be anchored in a deeper purpose, a resilience, and the capacity to find meaning in life even when the good things appear to leave our grasp. To make idols out of the gifts God has given us, well, that is to ignore the giver and worship the gift. And that, my friends, is something to think about.
Came to Believe Recovery strives to create and promote opportunities for life-changing spiritual experiences for individuals and families suffering from all forms of addiction. For more information, help, and support, visit cametobelieverecovery.org. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be your host on this episode of the Came to Believe Recovery podcast. And I would encourage you to like, bookmark, and subscribe to this show. When you do, you will join the Take 12 Recovery Radio family and will be notified of all of our recovery-focused shows throughout the week. Until our next broadcast, when we provide the essential spiritual tools needed to thrive by sharing our experience, our strength, and our hope through our stories of how we came to believe.
This has been a production of Take 12 Recovery Radio.
Yeah, kitty, kitty, kitty. Meow.
Woof, woof.
This has been a Chicken and a Pig production.